Sometimes hell is the humiliation suffered by ordinary people on TV, and none more so than the wannabes on New Faces, thrown to the mercy of the cruelest panel in showbiz.
From the beginning, the guidelines that I was given was to be as honest as possible, to just be myself. And I have to say that I had a reputation. In fact, I had the nickname the Hatchet Man. I absolutely hated the song, but I did try as much as possible to be constructive and to say what areas of the performance were failing. They're not together, either in their singing or in their movements. As I've always said, you get those 3 minutes, and they can be the most important 3 minutes in your life.
What are they gonna tell our friends when they say, ooh la la?
I don't know what they were trying to do. It didn't.
The whole thing didn't gel with
no,
you at all?
Not for me.
It does seem a bit amateurish.
We did nearly 200 shows, 1,000 acts appeared on the programme, and we were finding them in clubs, cabaret clubs and whatever all over the country.
The Hart Family.
There's a shot on New Faces that people may remember. It was very effective. While we were sitting, the panel and myself, talking about the acts, the act would move to a particular place on the set, and a camera would be there to take him close up, his reaction or her reaction, while the panel were talking about them. Now that could be a killing shot.
Since we last saw her, she's lost a bit of her appeal, because I think it was great for a little girl to do this, but now she's looking a teenager, with lots of teenagers doing what she's doing. Mm-hmm. I think her real appeal was when she was, a few months younger and actually in a miniskirt.
She does appear to be working too hard now, and it seemed to be right at one time, but now it just seems to be overdone all the time. I had to be smuggled out of the television studio on one occasion when I did give one artist to some very, very low marks, and his manager threatened to beat me up in the corridor. So they had to smuggle me out the back and into my own car. Oh.
Come on, Tim.
Oh, 6 then.
Oh, I know that you'll go far, 'cause you're a star.
This programme is about fashion.
Yeah,
This programme is about fashion. We'll do lots of programmes about racism, and I'm going to go away, and the microphones will not be on you, and you can talk to your heart's content. I'm very grateful to you for coming along. Thank you for making a statement. Thank you for making a statement. On another occasion,
you people are just dealing with fancy dress.
The reason why I'm wearing this is
don't enter the discussion. Thank you. You've made your point. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, fellas, you're now going to be evicted, fellas. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. Chaps! Just hold that with you. Look, fellas. Security, will you take him out, fellas?
We don't care about this. Anybody puts their hands on me, I'm going to have the look.
I'm not putting my hands on you, fellas.
Tiswas changed the face of children's TV. Suddenly, kids and their heroes could be naughty and get away with it. But a late-night version for adults was to be far less successful. It was a series that confounded the critics and incensed the censors.
OTT, Chris Tarrant's adult follow-up to Tiswas, was an idea decades ahead of its time. It preempted all that laddish culture stuff that Baddiel Skinner and different people fed off, all the lads mags, because it was basically Saturday night in.
Call that entertainment! A duck-billed platypus bum's more entertaining than that, pal!
We never sat down and said, right, how can we make people upset, or how can we push the boundaries? We'd set the mould, if you like, for late-night entertainment. We were breaking ground.
I don't quite know how to describe the next item. It's something you certainly won't have seen before on television. I think there's probably every chance you won't see it ever again.
If you're very quick and you've got a video recording, you can slow it down. It's just possible you'll see the minutest part of somebody's testicle. But some people must have done that. So wait a minute. Just stop that. Stop it. Slow it down. Go on. Frame it forward. Hold on. Get the magnifying glass out. And they'll be there. So, yes, look, there's a part of a man's testicle. And then writing in saying that, we were showing naked men on television. We took flack for the fact that we were innovators.
What's that?
Just an aspirin, darling.
But I haven't got a headache.
What's a bloody change?
Chris left television then, and he said, I'll never produce another television program in my whole life.
What? You understand this big stuff? Come out here and
Hello and welcome to day 9 of this series of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Now, all credit to Pan's people. At one point, all the boys liked them and all the girls wanted to be like them. Then a strange thing happened. They started taking the lyrics too literally. Hence this memorably dreadful dance routine to Gilbert O'Sullivan's Get Down, featuring a pack of dogs. After this, the girls were soon hounded off Top of the Pops and replaced by Legs & Co. When moments of huge historical importance occur, our TV nation usually turns to the BBC. But the live outside broadcast has been the downfall of many a presenter, so someone must have had it in for Jeremy Paxman when they asked him to host a discussion about the fall of the Eastern Bloc in the middle of a firework display.
Instead of closing itself down, and I think that's very important to be open to the rest of the world and not only German.
Now, well, I hope they could hear you in London more clearly than we could hear you here, because it is terribly, terribly noisy. But now let's... Charles Wheeler.
Jeremy, this is pure Monty Python.
I can't hear you.
This is pure Monty Python, having a serious political discussion in the middle of a firework display.
I'm only obeying orders, Charles.
Next, the show whose idea was anything but sensible. What were they thinking of? At 42, it's the painted babes of the mini-pops.
Mini-pops is a very strange piece of television history because it seems incredible, but it was produced by Channel 4 in their very early years. The parody of Channel 4 at the time was that all the programs were about social workers and very earnest political issues, and suddenly they put out this thing where you have very young children bopping around to pop music.
You can imagine to a bunch of right-on people, mini-pops was a bit of a shock because, we used to sort of sit and mutter and grumble about it. And this isn't what Channel 4 should be doing. Over the years, there's been a long tradition of children's talent shows. The problem was they got it horribly wrong because other talent shows hadn't painted children up in quite that way and had them behaving like small adults.
First time I watched the mini-pops, I think I was probably still at school myself, so there was a certain amount of envy involved. I thought, oh no, there's children sort of on stage singing, and I want to do that. And then I think after about the second or third programme, it began to be a bit disturbing.
As time went on, people realised that perhaps it didn't feel as innocent as the producers thought it might be.
Well, the Observer called mini-pops the worst of Channel 4. A comment surely close to libel. But Julian Barnes did seem genuinely upset.
It's certainly tasteless and appalling. The harder question is whether it's corrupt or corrupting.
Well, judge for yourself.
There was a groundswell from us within the channel saying we don't really think that this is what we should be doing. We do think that it could possibly have other connotations other than just nice children performing. And when I took over entertainment, one of the first things I did really was remove mini-pops because it frankly was a bit of an embarrassment.
I mean, if you put that show out now, I mean, the television station would be stormed. And it's this rather strange and bizarre piece of Channel 4's history that they could ever have been involved in it.
Sometimes
about that. Looks like we've had a power shortage or something, so we'll move on to the next item. And Martin Parr is one of Britain's leading photographers, known for his innovative colour work and for creating a new school of British documentary photography.
We're wasting our time, love.
We'll do it. We'll sort it out in a minute. His latest book, The Cost of Living, chronicles how the comfortable classes spend their time and money. But like some of his previous work, the latest photographs are controversial. Critics allege he's exploiting his subjects rather than making social commentary.
Amateurs! I have to warn you that there are 5 men in our monster filing cabinets. But one of them is your fiancé, Paul. All you have to do is tell us which one. OK, Private Dick number 1! That is disgusting! Sherlock Holmes! OK, Private Dick number 3 is Poirot! It's Miss It's Kojak!
At 39, we give a well-deserved clip round the ear to the precocious young things who were the stars of sugary 70s kids shows like Junior Showtime.
Did you want to be on Junior Showtime? Yes, desperately. Why? It was full of... It looks as if it was conceived by someone who is fed up with everyone saying, oh, children are sweet and nice. And I'll just make them do George Formby impressions and play the banjo, and I'll show everyone they're evil.
Every year when summer comes round, off to the sea I go.
I had no chance of being on them, partly because I didn't have any discernible talent, but partly because I was just ugly looking. Mind you, thinking back on it, that never really stopped a lot of people.
Next up, the ITV series that was one of the cruelest practical joke shows ever, and it made a star of Jeremy Beadle. Now that really is nasty.
Great Yarmouth, a day by the seaside. In this hotel, Trevor and Julia Gibson are about to come down for breakfast on the 3rd day of their honeymoon. What Trevor doesn't know is that the attractive blonde at the table next to him knows an awful lot about him, including the fact that he likes having his feet tickled.
Hi, how are you? Fancy seeing you here. How's Richard and Billy, all right? I think you like having your feet tickled, do you? So anyway, lovely seeing you. Bye.
In the burning aftermath of Saturday Night Fever, every man around the world wanted to be the next John Travolta. ITV raked through the ashes and gave us the World Disco Dancing Championships.
I don't actually remember anyone dancing like that. Any bloke dressed like that, hopping around, smiling, right, in Reading, would last about 2 minutes. He'd never dance again.
Soon they're gonna reach the top. Clippity-clop, clippity-clippity, clippity-clippity, clippity-clop.
Now, they say variety is dead. The question is, was it novelty acts like this that killed it? Memories of some really weird variety performances like Bob the Tray at number 36.
Property in our home. Get along, mule. Get along. I used to do that with a dustbin lid.
We end this long stretch with a hysterical Aussie soap that should have seen the writers and actors sent down. It's Prisoner Cell Block H, a knitting needle in the back of serious drama.
But that was on the outside.
Turn around and get ready.
And things were different then.
It was one of them shows that was so bad it became a cult show. It was like badly written, very poorly acted, almost of a Neighbours standard, some of the acting. And I think that's why people took it to their hearts.
Oh, I thought I'd let you hit me from behind. It's more your style, isn't it?
What I loved about Prisoner Cell Block H was the fact that Australians had recognised that lesbians exist.
All right, who's next?
We had great sort of beefy dykes in jail, vicious bullies. We had prison wardens with brilliant nicknames like Vinegar Tits. We had women behaving very badly.
Oddly enough, like Neighbours, occasionally very moving, very tender moments, you know.
Are you satisfied?
See, you laugh, you see, this is the thing, people laugh, but, you know, I remember when I used to present The Late Show live on BBC Two, and about 12:15, knowing that Prisoner Cell Block H was on the other side, you know, I felt terribly torn, because I was presenting live The Late Show, and knowing that really the audience was elsewhere watching Prisoner Cell Block H, and I wanted to be there too, you know.
But the roses here are prisoners too. When morning comes around.
For those who've just tuned in, a reminder that we're counting down the top, or maybe the bottom, 100 TV moments which perhaps should never have been made, but we're really glad they were. You know, the scripts that should have been used for Origami, the videotape that could have been used to tie up the cast of El Dorado, and the sets from Prisoner Cell Block H that were as flimsy as the plots. In short, television moments that never brought anyone's house down.